From the campus of Volunteer State Community College, this is Inside Politics.
Hi and welcome to Inside Politics. I'm Nancy Hauskins. This fall, we're introducing you to the folks who want to be your next governor. While the election is not until next year, the candidates are already vying for your vote. Our guest today is former State Majority Leader Kim McMillian from Clarksville, who is seeking the Democratic nomination for governor in 2010. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Nancy. I'm glad to be here.
Well, I think most people who've been around Tennessee for a while are familiar with your face and a little bit with your history, but for those who may not be, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. I actually grew up in Knoxville, Tennessee, moved to Clarksville after I met my husband when I was at UT Law School, and that's where he's from. So we moved back to Clarksville, stayed there, actually ran for the legislature in 1994 when I was fairly young. My children, I have two, they were 2 and 1 at the time that I first ran for office. Was fortunate enough to be elected by the good people of Montgomery County and served in the legislature for 12 years. So was majority leader for 4, the first woman ever elected majority leader in Tennessee history. Served in that role for 4 years. Then I didn't run again in 2006 because Governor Bredesen had asked me to join his cabinet. So I did. I served in his cabinet as his senior advisor for about a year and a half until I left to start off on this quest to run for governor myself. So that's a little bit about my background. I'm an attorney. I've practiced in a very large law firm and also in a smaller law firm with my husband, McMillian & McMillian, in Clarksville, Tennessee. Have 2 beautiful, wonderful children, Katie and Ryan, who are 16 and 17, and attend the public high schools in Clarksville, Tennessee.
So you have a lot of spare time.
None. I have no spare time.
Well, tell me about the decision to make the leap to running for governor.
You know, it was pretty much an easy decision, Nancy. What I thought is somebody who had had the kind of experience that I've had. I have spent my whole adult life in public service, the last 15 years, and having served in the legislature, having served in a pretty substantial leadership role, and then having served in the executive branch as a member of Governor Bredesen's cabinet, I feel like that I know state government, understand how to get things done, know the various departments, and it was just a natural step to move into the governor's office after having left the legislature.
How does Governor Bredesen feel about you moving up?
Well, I hope that he's proud of me and thinks it's a good idea. You know, he's been a wonderful governor, and I have to tell you that having served as his majority leader during his first term, his first 4 years, and then actually serving in his cabinet and being able to let him be the kind of mentor that he is and learning from him about his ideas about running state government was a tremendous opportunity for me. So I have to say that it really set me on the path to understanding how to make things happen in state government.
The election is in 2010, which seems to many of us to be a long time away, but you're already out there running and gunning right now. Tell us a little bit about how it's been so far and what you guys do at this stage of the game.
It's been tremendous. The reception that I've gotten has just been wonderful. And I have to tell you, Nancy, unlike some of the other candidates, I actually formed an exploratory committee in 2008. After I had left the governor's office and went back to Austin Peay State University, which is where I am today, and really felt like it was important to travel around the state and get the pulse of the people of Tennessee, find out what people in Tennessee really wanted out of their next governor and what they thought about, you know, the issues that were facing them in Tennessee. So I spent about a year traveling around the state, going to different counties. I've been from Mountain City to Memphis, actually in one day, which is a pretty long way to go.
I bet.
But I think the reception that I got was just so phenomenal, and having people say, we think that your experience, we think that what your vision is for the state of Tennessee, your excitement and enthusiasm about state government, we'd like to see you do it. So earlier this year, I turned the exploratory committee into a formal committee for governor, and I've been out there ever since working hard.
Tennessee ready for a lady governor?
I think they are. Yeah. And that was one of the things that I wanted to make sure as I traveled around the state. Obviously, as you know, we've never had a woman governor before, so it would be a little bit of a change. But, you know, we never had a female majority leader until I was elected in 2002, and I think that showed that Tennessee is ready. I think Tennessee believes in, they want the best candidate for the job. And that's why we don't have party registration in Tennessee, because people like the ability to be able to pick the right candidate, whether that be, a male or a female. So I think they're ready.
We hear a lot in this campaign about two main things: name recognition and financial backing of campaigns. First of all, I'm guessing your name recognition is fairly high out there since you've been in the political arena for so long. Tell me a little bit about how you're working out the financing and the name recognition.
Well, that's always an interesting question, and I can't say, being the majority leader really helped me get around the state and get to various different venues in various different counties. I've been to almost all 95 counties throughout the course of my political career. But I think that, name recognition is something you've got to work for. You have to get out there. You have to meet people. And having been in politics as long as I have and having realized that, I think that I'm ready for that. But now, Nancy, I have to tell you a quick story for your viewers. The first time I ran for office in 1994, people said, well, nobody knows who you are and you don't have very big name recognition. And my opponent in the Democratic primary when I first ran for office was a gentleman by the name of Austin Peay, who was the great-great-grandson of the former governor who lives in Clarksville. So I think, name recognition was certainly something that was very interesting in that race, and I was able to succeed. But because I got out there, went door to door, worked hard to really overcome the fact that his name was something and mine wasn't. And so I think that's the same thing that can happen in this gubernatorial race.
Absolutely. Part of your campaign is a grassroots movement to get women, specifically women voters, more involved.
Yes.
What do you perceive has been the problem with women getting involved, and how are you going to engage them this go-round?
Well, Nancy, that's a very important issue, and unfortunately for the women in Tennessee, we currently rank about 49th out of the 50 states in political participation by women, and that's not just women running for office, that's women voting, that's women registering to vote, that's women taking a role and a part in their political life. And it is one of my goals to make sure that everybody has a voice in government, and that includes the women in the state of Tennessee. So we've started an outreach effort called Women for Kim that's really directed at getting women involved in the political process so they can have a seat at the table. They can also be part of making decisions about their political future. So I think that's so important. I'm excited about it. I'm working hard to recruit that outreach effort to get women involved.
Right. Well, let's talk about some of the issues for this campaign. One that's certainly been at the forefront is health care. All of the talk in Washington and everything that's going on right now is certainly going to affect, whatever happens, TennCare and what goes on here in Tennessee. What are some of the important changes that you think need to happen, both on a state level and with this national issue?
Well, I think that the first thing that's got to happen is we've got to continue to work towards making sure that everyone in Tennessee has the ability to have accessible and affordable health care. Health care is really an underpinning to so many other issues that affect people in Tennessee, and the health of Tennessee is extremely important. So I think we've got to continue to work towards that effort. I think whatever happens in Washington, obviously it will have a direct impact on our TennCare program, which is our state's Medicaid program. So changes that are made to the Medicaid types of programs will affect us, and I think that the next governor is going to have to be able to understand how that works. I've spent my entire life in state government working with TennCare, working with the state Medicaid program, understanding how we have to deal with the waiver issues in the federal government. So I think that's important. Really, it's more an issue of making sure that we expand the program to the point that those people who need and deserve coverage have coverage.